How's it going, Primes? Jacobs Prime here, and I'm back with some more. I guess it's another story time video. I'm, kind of grasping at straws now on what to record. I was thinking about doing Transformers Crossfire, but the controllers are still a little janky to me. I guess a little update. I finally got my dream job. Finally, I start on the 31st. I just gotta wait for the drug test to get back, and recordings they honestly might end up just stopping. Hopefully not, because the scheduling should be okay. But I don't know. We'll find out when I fully start working. But anyway, story time. This is a video or a story time about how I got into Warhammer. As you can see on my TV screen, or not TV screen, but as you see on the screen right now, it's not a Blood Raven. I call them Primes. I know, a little cheesy. I don't use them anymore, but they were my first homebrew chapter. They are, well, first of all, they were like the descendants of Grey Knights, but then I started hearing all the lore of the Grey Knights, and I really didn't like it because Grey Knights are kind of a-holes, but I started hearing where Grey Knights weren't a-holes, really. So, I don't know. I'm still working on the successor chapter for them, but how I play them on the tabletop, though, I use the Ultramarines because the Ultramarines are a lot easier to understand. But anyway, this is a story on how I got into Warhammer. So, the thing that started me with Warhammer was a YouTuber called The Russian Badger. He uploaded a video on Space Hulk Deathwing. Now, my personal favorite type of armaments and weaponry from Warhammer are the Terminators. Now, I don't really know much about the armor names, but my favorite type of armor for Terminators is I think they call it the Cataphractes armor. It's the one you see everyone wear. It's the one that's mass produced. Well, not really produced anymore, but it's the one that everyone wears. But it started off with that video of the Russian Badger playing that game. I had no idea what Warhammer was at the time, but I really liked that idea. Big, hulking, mechanical-looking beings holding miniguns, big fists, ripping monsters apart. And I really enjoyed that because I like kaijus, I like mecha, Pacific Rim, Gundam, Transformers, and it's all the stuff that I just really enjoyed. And then I saw like the power sword, the shield, reminded me of Star Wars, big Star Wars fan. But it was when I had a PS4, and I was like, holy cow, this game looks really, really fun. So I looked it up, and I seen that it was on the PS4. Now, it was the very, very upgraded version. But, I went ahead and got it. I got it for really cheap. I think I got it for like $3. It was on sale. I play it even till now. A lot of people played it way more. There's like level 10,000 players that are level 10,000s, while I'm only a level 100. But anyway, it started with that game, and then it trickled on into more and more games. Not Total Warhammer, but Dawn of War 1 and 2 and 3, where you play as the Blood Ravens. As you can see with my character, he kind of looks like a Blood Raven, and that's why I kind of started getting kind of more enthralled into it. Started finding out who the Primarchs were. My favorite being Sanguinius and Rabute Gilliman. And I can't think of his name right now, but he's the Primarch of the Salamanders. Cannot think of his name right now. But, yeah, them three are my favorite. The Emperor. Just the story just started dragging me more and more into it. Then I ended up getting me a VR headset. I don't know if I've talked about this. I probably have. But I used to do quote-unquote role-playing on the VR headset, and it was for Warhammer. I was part of a group called the Blood Angels. Now, when I first got introduced to them, I thought the Blood Angels were a successor chapter to the Blood Ravens because I'd never seen a Blood Angel up until that point. And the guy that introduced me to all of it, he was like, no, you got that backwards. A Blood Raven is a successor chapter to the Blood Angels. I didn't know that, but I thought that was pretty cool. And also come to find out, blood angels are like vampires, and blood ravens are just a bunch of thieves, which I kind of vibe with because it's funny. Not that I'm a thief or a vampire or both. It's just that the stuff people make, the memes of a blood raven, is funny. So I played with them for like maybe a year and a half to 2 years. I dropped them off because I had to work at Lowe's and it was night shifts, so I could never play. So it was like 2 years on, 2 years off. I came back for like maybe a couple more months, but the group, it's VR chat. There's weirdos in it, so it kind of, I myself got uncomfortable, and I started to not like it. So I stepped away. A lot of people didn't like that because I became a captain of third company. I had, I think it was Mark III power armor, all heavily armored up. Captain of third company, which were like Devastators and all that. And that's another thing. The VR group got me into Devastator squads. So not only am I a fan of Terminators, I really like Devastator squads, the ones with like the heavy meltas, the heavy bolters, the heavy, anything heavy, a grav cannon. But I stepped away, and then I started, really thinking. I was like, I really want to play some more Space Marine games. There was an RPG Space Marine or RPG Warhammer game. I forgot what it's called, but my GameStop talked about it. It was supposed to get put on the PS4 and 5, but they canceled it. It was I think it was either a 4-way war or a 5-way war. I can't remember. You could play as Eldarian or an Eldar, an Orc, a Space Marine, and I want to say maybe a Necron, but I can't remember. But I do know you fought Tyranids. The Necron one, I don't know about. Necrons, I forgot to talk about those. Excuse me. But I really wanted to play that game. I really wanted to so badly, but it got canceled. You could be a Terminator, you could be a Dreadnought, you could be whatever you wanted in that game, and everything was balanced. But I couldn't get to it. The game got canceled. It's not on PC anymore. I mean, it may still be on PC, but a lot of people don't play it anymore because the game was practically dead, and apparently it was really bad. A lot of people didn't like it. So I went to the next best thing because I'm personally, I'm not a fan of turn-based shooters and all that, like turn-based games. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not. It's hard for me to get into it. Even when I played the tabletop, which I need to get into that soon. But I wanted to play a really good third-person shooter Space Marine game, and someone brought me to the first Space Marine game. That really set me down into the path of making my own chapter. So, Captain Titus, Leandros, and Sidonis, they go to Graia, and they just start messing stuff up. Love the game. Multiplayer, dead as hell. The PvP mode, dead as hell. But I was able to unlock a lot of the things. I ended up getting a Mark 8 helmet, chest piece, and all the Mark 8 stuff. And I made him look like the guy I'm playing as right now, my Prime. And I made it based off of the Blood Ravens, because the Blood Ravens are the guys that I got really into for the first time. Space Hulk Deathwing, I didn't know who the Dark Angels were. They didn't know who the Death Company was. I didn't know who the first company was, the Dark Angels. I just didn't know who they were. I forgot what the first company's name is, but Belial and all them. I just didn't know. I just dropped in and I wanted to customize my Terminator so badly. But playing Space Marine 1, I run into the Blood Angels or Blood Ravens, and I'm like, holy cow, my chapter's in here. Realizing that it's not the Blood Angels, that was the Blood Ravens. But I play a little more. I start to remember that, there was a guy in school that I used to hang out with. He was a big fan of Warhammer, and he introduced me to the tabletop. He gave me some of his miniatures, made me a bunch of Terminators that were black and silver, and my main guys, which were red and silver with like dingy red. And we played a couple games here and there. I had to step away from it because I'm having to work, working 4 days a week, having 3 days off. That's good and all, but in those 3 days, I don't want to be playing a tabletop game all day long. Because a tabletop game, from what my experiences, take about like 5 hours to set up, 5, 6, 7 hours to set up. So that's one whole day pretty much gone. I got 2 days left to like clean up, do whatever, and then whatever day I have next to sleep. Because I mostly work nights. But I started customizing those the little miniatures to look like the guy you see on screen now, and it was just overall just I enjoyed it. Just the gaming section with tabletop, not so much. It just was not my cup of tea. I stayed because he was my friend and I was trying to become friends with everyone else, but at that point it was me or it was the game or the job, and the job put food on the table, so I had to go to work. They didn't like it because a lot of them lived with their mom and dad. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I personally just didn't have the time, and so I just had to step away. What I didn't like is that he said, "Hey, give me those figures back," even though I paid $150 for them all. It was like the Terminators he made and the Space Marines, and then I spent another $50 on another set of Terminators. I think it was like a 5 set, 5, 6, 7 set. I bought some of those for myself, so about $200 altogether. But he wanted all of them back and not pay me back because I paid him money for it. But that kind of got me aggravated because it's like, hey, I still enjoy having them. I painted them up, I put them in poses. I still enjoy them. But that's in the past now. But other than that, I would continuously play Space Marine 1, trying to get more and more stuff, even when I was bored. Space Hulk Deathwing, I played that one a lot. Oh, I played it so much. Oh, I played it almost every single day. Excuse me. But, then I started getting a little kind of bored. I bought one of the books for Space Marine. It was one of the codexes for, not codex. I think it was the codex. It has like Rabute Gilliman on the front. It was 9th edition. It was either 8, 9. It wasn't 10. It was either 8 or 9. One of the quote unquote newest ones. But I bought that. Started reading up on the game. Tried to get my brother into it. Tried to get my fiance into it. Just trying to get more people into it, because if I'm like really, really bored, why not paint some miniatures? Which I haven't bought any lately. But that's when it comes into figurines that I bought, right? McFarlane Toys. A lot of people don't like his figures. I think they're pretty good deal. $20 to $25 for a decent action figure that looks cool, poses like shit, but hey, it's a cool character. I got his entire Doom wave minus the one that glows in the dark, because paying, I think he was $45, but for a figure that glows in the dark, I personally see that as a waste of money. But I have those waves. I have a bunch of DC figures, and I used to have every single Warhammer figure he made, almost, except for the Dark Angels. The Dark Angel one I never got a hold of because they just stopped selling them. They stopped pushing them out into retail. But with those figures, I forgot to talk about the Retributors. Not Retributors. I think this is the Retributors. The guys from Space Marine. Yeah, that one. The gray guys with the golden skull and all that. I'm starting to draw on a blank. A successor chapter to the Imperial Fist, the Retributors, or I think it was just called Space Marine. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That one that's like really out there. Astartes, that's what it's called. It's called Astartes. They're coming out with the part 2. But anyway, I got my dad into that. He really liked how it looked like Star Wars. But I bought a bunch of I got like 10 or 11. Can't remember. But I got pretty much, we're going to just say 10. I got 10 of the McFarlane figures. And I painted each and every one of them as a respectable Ultramarine and Blood Angel, because for some reason the Blood Angel came with the blue head, Ultramarine came with the red head. I know why that those are rankings, but they didn't just have a basic Blood Angel or Ultramarine with both a red and blue head. Anyway, I got those, and then I was like, you know what? I really like the Mark. I think it's the Mark 7 helmet, the one that my guy's wearing right now, or the Mark 8, because the Mark 8 has like I think extra tubing. Anyway, I like that helmet the most. I like it more than the Mark 10. But, you know, I got a bunch of 3D helmets, and I started putting them on to all the bodies. I had a artist proof, which were the gray ones. I made him look like a retributor. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make these guys look like my miniatures. I bought a 3D printed bolt gun, or a heavy bolter, and Terminator armor. I was able to make one of them into a Terminator. So I customized them all up. And so I have like a bunch of miniatures of my custom Space Marines and the big figs of my normal Space Marines. And that just dropped down to me buying even more figures. I bought Tyranids, I bought Necrons, I bought some Orcs. And, you know, they started taking up a lot of room, especially since now I live by myself. My closet is full of them, so I'm kind of slowly trying to get rid of them because I don't do anything with them. You know, the paint, even though the paint's good, it chips. You know, this is normal. It's normal. The plastic's not painted; it's painted on. So I sold. I want to say I sold a Tyranid and one of my primary Space Marines to some people that I knew. But now I'm getting into a group or a company called Joy Toy. They make some awesome Space Marine figures. They are expensive for their size, but they are so good. A lot better than the McFarlane because they pose better, feel better, and they just come with a lot more extra stuff. I recently got me a Primaris Terminator, and I had a Hailstorm Terminator, I think is what it's called, with like the Hailstorm missiles and a chain fist. I took the Hailstorm missiles and chain fist off, you know, threw them in the freezer because Joy Toy uses cheap glue because I don't know why. Anyway, put it in the freezer, and so I started breaking all the parts off, and I put them on the Primaris Terminator, and he looks so good. So good, because my Terminator is the assault cannon with the Hellfire missiles and the chain fist. But, yeah, and then, you know, I'm playing Space Marine 2. So, yeah, that's pretty much how everything caught up of why I like Space Marine so much. I know it starts from me watching a video from the Russian Badger all the way down to me playing Space Marine 2 with some Joy Toy action figures in the way. I am looking forward to getting some Blood Angel Joy Toy figures and putting like Grey Knight pauldrons on their arms so they can look like my Space Marines. But, you know, that's going to take a while because those figures are a lot. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If you guys enjoyed it, please down in the comments below let me know why y'all enjoyed it. But if y'all didn't, that's okay. Down in the comments below let me know why y'all enjoyed it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful life. Hope to catch you on the next episode. And this is Jake's Prime signing out until all are one.